episode of Proxemics, where we talk communication, public relations, marketing, and everything in between. And every now and then, we got some pretty cool, dope people who stop by our studio. And today is no different. It's actually even crazier. Now we have kind of the first guest, international guest, I would say, right? International guest. So she's a very good friend of ours. We've known our guest for a long, long time. We go way back. She's definitely one of the kindest people in the industry, right? Which we need more in this world, right?
Yes.
And it's even crazier considering that she's coming from the tech industry, right? That is heavily dominated by male. So maybe we can talk about that a little bit later. Anyway, please welcome to the show, Vanessa.
Yay!
Thank you guys. Happy to be here.
Hey.
Vanessa.
Yeah, we've been trying to get you to come for a while now, huh?
I think it's been probably about 3 months, right? But the
3
time was
months, I
never
know.
work,
Yeah.
right? Because usually you come over around the weekend, right? And there was this always scheduling issues. So
True.
yeah. Finally,
Finally,
in this new studio.
in the new studio,
You're
the
very
first
honored.
guest.
Yes.
Yeah, in the new studio. So welcome.
Thank
Vanessa,
you. Very
or-
happy to be here. It's a very nice setup. Very beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. All of us are on theme as well.
Anyway, we got a lot of questions for you. We're gonna talk your experiences, right? Your background. So let's take it back to Xiaomi, maybe, right?
That's the common thread here.
The common thread.
No, the three common thread. You also common thread.
Yeah. Like we used to work to serve Vanessa as a client, and then you joined the dark side, obviously. Then I was serving you too, and then now,
Yeah.
Steph
Full
is back
circle.
in,
Yeah.
praxis.
I think we met in 2017, right? That was the first time. Or was it 2016? I think 2017. I
Was
met
it 27?
you.
Yeah. I think
Maybe 16 or even 15.
17. I remember that we did the
I moved already
India,
to the dark side.
India trip.
So maybe 16 or 15. I can't
16
remember.
I joined
15.
Xiaomi in 2016. So maybe
must
it
be
was the
16.
end of
16.
2016.
I think so.
I think I remember Vanessa when we had that event in XX1. Was
No.
he there? Remember the Plaza Senayan?
No, I think
With Hugo? Hugo was still there, right?
Oh, wait.
Hugo was still there.
Yeah.
Hugo was still there.
But she wasn't around, I think.
No.
Whatever. But it's
Anyway.
somewhere that we know lah.
Yeah.
2016, 2017.
Yeah.
Somewhere there.
I remember because we were trying to hold our Redmi 7 launch.
Oh, Redmi
Redmi
7.
Redmi 4. Redmi 4.
Redmi 4.
Redmi 4.
Okay.
Now they're already at Redmi 15. So can you imagine how long was that?
Wow.
It's 8 years ago.
I remember the first time we met was in Senayan City. You were making the PPT for their launch.
Yes.
But Senayan City, because we have the event in Plaza Senayan across the street.
Maybe.
I think. Like the theater, the movie theater.
No, right?
No? What was your first Xiaomi
No,
event
that's
in
two
Indonesia?
different. There's like two different things. I think the theater one you were referring to Redmi Note or something that was in Sarina. That was
Redmi Note
even-
5, I think.
Redmi Note 5 was in.
That's definitely the one
Yeah.
that I remember.
So we had
Redmi Note 5.
JKD48 over there. Is that right?
Redmi Note 5?
Was it?
No, way
Redmi
before
Note
that.
5A.
Okay. There's a lot of confusion.
Yeah, so maybe let's just put a window of 2015 to 2016.
Yeah.
And a funny story about me and Vanessa and I was, even though we met that moment, but I remember that the first interaction that maybe like the foundations of our eventually friendship was that when I first moved to the dark side, John was like, has I moved to the, when he specifically want me to come to your room and be acquainted before other meetings. Remember that?
So John wanted you to meet her first before you meet everybody.
Yes. I don't remember was that was I still with the agency or already moved to the other side? I don't remember, but I remember that specific interaction that John was like, you have to meet her first before. yeah, that one.
Did John ever explain why?
I
No, it makes sense, but I'm just wondering, did he ever explain?
I think he was just trying to, watch my back and take care of me as part of his team. I
Or
think
maybe it's the kind person situation, right? Hey, you should get to know Vanessa.
could be, but that's for sure. But the other thing, I think John is one of the nicest person I've ever met. Also, apart from Vanessa, I
Yeah.
think that's one of his way to watch my back. I feel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's
Makes
like the
sense.
father figure in the whole company back in Xiaomi.
Yeah.
So he tends to take care of everyone.
Closer.
Just tends to take care of everyone, just trying to make sure that all of them are accounted for. So I guess at that point of time, I think it was because you were about to join us. So
Something like that lah.
yeah, so we wanted you to know what the team was like and what to expect. You know, because it's very different, right?
So maybe I don't quit in the first week. Maybe that's maybe why.
Okay. And I remember that probably that first month, I had to go to India to cover her staff because, she's not here anymore.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
here.
Yeah,
So I had to go.
Was that the air purifier launch? Was it the Hugo launch?
No longer Hugo.
No longer Hugo.
Oh, okay.
Hugo
Hugo
left
in
in two different
2017.
era.
Manu was
Okay,
here,
okay.
right?
Yeah,
I
so
think.
I have to go to China and he has to go to Beijing because he has to go to Delhi because I cannot go to Delhi, obviously. So,
Yeah, we got some
First time he
journalists
traveled internationally for a client in 10 years, maybe.
because of staff.
Oops, but she's back with you now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's pretty good. Anyway, working at Xiaomi, I've heard very tough, right? Very challenging, very busy. A lot of things that you guys have to handle, especially regionally, and then even dealing with market as big as Indonesia, for example, right? Which is not the easiest. What was your most important lessons, right? Things that you take from that experience and then, bring it to work every day now, for example.
I think the first thing is you have to thrive on speed and being scrappy. So the thing is, a lot of times we are expected to make magic with very little resources that we have.
Yep.
So you learn to be very creative, very quick, very resourceful. And I think that shapes how I think about certain things today. So to a certain extent, sometimes when you're given a certain budget, it doesn't necessarily mean that, there's always something that you can do around this particular amount of resources that you have. Be it people, be it time, be it money. So I think that really shapes the way I think and approach things even till today. So that experience in Xiaomi was was how I think, basically shaped how I actually approach a lot of problems these days. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And obviously, surviving it, did it give you guys, for Steph too, did it give you guys superpowers, right? Did you, what else is there, that you can only get from that experience and from nowhere else?
I mean, to me, right, I didn't know that I'm able to do that until I push myself to do that. Because I wouldn't think it's possible to handle, let's say, 6 market. Because before moving to the client side, people always say that client side is easier than agencies. Corporate is easier than agencies. It's a lot chiller, a lot predictable, whatever lah. Because that was the prejudice at the time when I moved. Whoa, that's completely different.
I think the challenges are very different,
Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
And-
it was completely different lah. So having that prejudice mindset coming in, expecting things to be slower, but it's faster. So I think
Yeah.
I didn't know that I was able to go through that until I actually go through that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But at the same time, I think it's also because of the company that you join as well. Technology in China moves so fast. What works today might be obsolete the next day.
Yep.
So the thing is, we had to make a lot of fast decisions, and inaction is worse than not making a decision, right? And all these actually to a certain extent, I think it's no different. Would you say that the life that you had in back pre Xiaomi and after and during Xiaomi days, and it's about the same.
Yeah, I feel like I just made decision without knowing what are the results because I have to make a decision. Otherwise, things will not move.
Yes.
Yep.
So I think those are the things that really shape me, I guess, in terms of a person in my personal life and my professional life. It's not don't be afraid to make decision.
Yep.
I think that's one key thing that I learned lah. Like
And apart from that, I think the other experience is, you're working, in an agency, you work with mostly Indonesians, right? So when you move to Xiaomi, there's a lot of cross-cultural, cross-borders, cross-collaboration. So you tend to develop a lot more empathy towards other cultures. There are certain times where you don't understand why certain people work in certain manner, you look at her face.
No, because I remember that at the time it was a lot of things to learn, not just the culture, not just the habit. It's also the language, and then the cultural nuance to it. It was a lot to absorb. But yeah, I mean,
and at the same time under very, very tremendous pressure because on average every year, you remember how many launches do we have? 15 minimally. 15 phones
yes.
when it comes to high end, mid range, and low end.
But you
I don't know how many
remember-
markets.
And you remember how much work you have to put in one launch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before you finish with one, and then you already start planning for the second, and so on and so on. It's like you're like a hamster moving around the wheel, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was fun. That's why I feel like we joined Xiaomi in the right time because at that age,
Yeah.
when we were younger, it was fun.
Still young.
Still young.
I'm still young at heart. I'm always forever 17. So
17 is too young. I would prefer to be like 20,
21,
29.
22 lah. But the energy that you have to put, the mindset, everything, it's just that I think I understand why the company hire a lot younger generation nowadays, not just Xiaomi in general, but all Chinese companies, they tend to hire younger generation, like fresh grads, new hired. It's because I think they need that kind of energy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's tough. It's
You
really
need
tough.
to inject the new blood into things,
Yeah.
because a lot of times, now I don't know about you, but I always feel like I'm a fresh graduate. Do you feel so?
Not really lah. I mean, no, I didn't know what. I mean, me graduating from college, I feel like wow, I didn't know what to do with my life. Yeah, it was.
Maybe you're more put together even when you're just graduated college. For me, I don't think I know what I was doing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I at the time when when I finished college, I'm like, shit, man, I don't know what to do with my life. So maybe slightly different, but I do agree that I can understand why now companies hiring more younger and younger is because of that reason. Probably you have to deal with that and new energy, new blood, whatever. But at the same time, what's lacking is the experience, the wisdom.
Yep.
You can be young, you can be fresh, you can be full of new ideas, but in leadership, I think when it's lacking of wisdom, when it's lacking of experience, it does affect the decisions being made. I think that's one thing that maybe companies out there need to, take into consideration when you're building a team. Yeah.
I think a good mix is actually important because it contributes to the cognitive diversity, you see. Because when the younger folks, I was just telling some of my interns lately, and I said, every single day I learn from you guys. The whole reason why I say that, I always think that, so it's a very funny experience. So there was once I was going back to Singapore and I graduated from National University of Singapore.
Okay.
So I was walking alongside with my intern and she was saying, hey, that was my hostel. And I said, oh yeah, it feels like I just graduated. So the thing is, why do I say that is because don't you think that when it comes to PR, when it comes to marketing, right? And in essence, everything is changing every day. How we consume information is very different from when we were schooling versus
Absolutely.
now. Now I can generate, answers, answers to the questions that I'm being posed via ChatGPT, and then I actually, and I make edits to it, based on my experience, based on what I think is right for me. So I think the way so to me, every single day I have to learn, is always a very dynamic kind of approach in consuming and learning. So that's why I feel like every single day is a fresh start. There's something
Okay.
new to learn every day.
Okay.
So that's why I do think that I consistently need to upgrade myself. So that is why I feel like, I still feel like I'm a fresh grad.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
can
think
see
that that's a very good mindset, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's also the thing that we always discuss whenever we hire or whenever we will retain talent. I think it's important to take into consideration the growth mindset.
Yes, correct.
Yep.
I think that is very important when it comes to, assessing assessing candidates as well.
Yeah.
A fixed mindset is somebody, this is done. I'm not going to grow and I don't want to grow. Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I totally agree. I mean, from that perspective, learning something new every day, it's it's not that, like, you kind of need it for work, but it's also for yourself.
Yes,
After a
correct.
while, you cannot be doing the same thing every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
It gets boring.
Yeah.
So, like, learning something new, using the tools that they use, with the kids today,
Yeah.
like, that's always very exciting, and how we can improve our just work overall, right? Make it faster and everything, and especially with the AI. AI is
Yeah.
getting crazy, man.
I just watched the interview of the CEO of OpenAI. I just shared it to you about the story behind why he launched the ChatGPT 5. I think it's scary. I mean, it's easier for human to function in general, right? Because you can just ask whatever questions and AI will answer it for you. It's scary at the same time. Like, how would the world be in 5 years if things in AI move this fast?
Yeah.
Like, think about how would AI affect our life, not just in our job, but in life in general. I'm like, after that interview, I'm like, oh, my head hurt.
Actually, it's a very interesting question as well, because there was once I was also talking to my intern, and she's graduating next year. So she asked me, how would right now with AI, being so widely used, what is my age when I graduate? They are actually getting worried, But at the same time, I was just telling her that, AI should actually help you to get the basics done so that you are able to build on it and be able to provide a different perspective that AI cannot give. Yeah, correct. So I think a lot of times we see AI as a threat, but the thing is, I think we should see it as a tool for you to up your game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't want to discredit the younger generations, but obviously that's easier. It's like, we always use this analogy. 30 years ago, Windows 95, right? Like, it's the first time you have a start menu on your computer, right?
And there's this fan.
Exactly. Without actually putting the diskette, right? And then prompting, hey, do this or
Oh
do
my
that.
goodness,
This-
floppy disk.
And of course, back then, some people or majority of people, they don't use computers, right? PCs. But they're okay.
Yeah.
But obviously, the people who did use PCs, they're ahead of the game, right? They can do all this different stuff. And then the internet, right? Also, some people, they weren't using internet as much as the others, and the others got the advantage. And now, I guess AI is kind of the same, right? You just need to make your peace, right? Make it work for you.
Yep.
Don't see it as a threat. So,
Yeah, I
not,
think
not so much as a threat, but how to make you better.
I think it's because it's fairly new to everyone, right? It's just the unknown part of it that makes it scary, right?
You don't know what you don't know,
like,
right?
Yeah.
It's not about we are threatened by the discovery of AI. It's more like it's still new. It's very unpredictable, so we don't know what happened. I don't know how this thing will change our life in general. So I think that part is scary, the unknown part. I mean, I enjoy ChatGPT nowadays. Of course, my copywriting is so good, dude. It used to take me like what 2 hours to edit a release,
Yeah.
but now once I know the flow that I want, it took me like what half an hour tops.
Mm.
You know, make a change. Like they give you a draft, and you're like, no, change again, submit again, come back. That's it. Great.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But then
Yes.
it shows.
And you can see how much better like today's version compared to like a year ago.
Yeah, it is.
It's crazy, man.
Crazy.
Like
it is.
I think like a week ago. Oh, I forgot to create this presentation. I did it in like half an hour, man.
With AI, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to ask put the right,
right
prompt and
prompts,
stuff,
yes.
of course, and then you learn after a while. But put this into the table, sort it based on SEO. Do
Yeah.
this, do that.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, it used to take me like 3-4 days.
How at least half a week to do that.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have to sort all these things, get this information, subscribe to whatever. Now,
Yes. Yeah. In the past, we used to get interns to help us do certain things as well,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
So now these days, I don't even rely on. Sorry.
I know.
I know. That's what I was saying. Like
Yeah.
doing it used to take me. Maybe I spent a solid half day just to edit a release or edit a plan or etc. But now with ChatGPT, dude,
Yes.
Like-
Like AI tools in general, it helps you become more efficient. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, correct.
That's undeniable.
it's just the thing that we've seen, the thing that we can make the use of it, right? But the other things that I mentioned earlier is like the unknown part of it, right?
yeah.
Like because again, I'm gonna quote that research that I read from I think from Yale or from Harvard, I forget. How they've done a research to a number of people that using ChatGPT not ChatGPT, sorry, AI
AI in
tools,
general.
AI in general consistently, their brain shrinks, bro.
Like, how can it be so fast?
I think I read before.
Is
but
it that fast?
I don't
you
know, but I didn't see I haven't gotten into the detail of it lah. But at least the headline and the summary of that study shows if you're consistently using some AI tools, it's just affect how your brain works.
You know, actually, I have a good example of this. You know, I always quote my. It might sound unrelated for now, but I always quote my 95-year-old grandmother.
Okay.
So you know, I try to make it a point to go out with her after work. So I'll bring her to the supermarket. So there was one night supermarket
I know
run.
I know the story.
So you know, we walk down this aisle, and she saw a packet of 6 lemon barley.
Okay.
So she said, "Oh, 6 packets of lemon barley, $2.70. This is in SGD. One packet, almost immediately, one packet is 45 cents." I was just like, dude, did she just calculate on the fly? Mind you, she's
95
95.
years old.
She's 95. And, you know, I can never owe her money. Or I can never owe her money. She'll be like, "Vanessa, you owe me $50. Vanessa, I owe you $30.
Wow.
And you know, another incident was, I will pay for her first. And sometimes I would just be like, you know, she's my grandmother, so I'll just pay it for her. And she will hound me down every other day and say, you know, "Vanessa, it's time to actually do the accounts. How much do I owe you? I think I owe you $30. I said, "How would you know you owe me $30? And she said, "Okay, you go and count." So I actually went to count. It was $30.25. So she remembers every single item that she bought and the price of it. So relating to this, whatever that you said, right? I believe that when it comes to you know, learning, or be it, you know, training your brain, it's like a muscle. You know bodybuilders, they train every other day, right? So likewise, if your brain, if you leave it to AI all these while, it's definitely going to shrink. If I were to draw parallels between these, right, these two, it's the same. So if every single time we keep using AI, yes, we would just be very lazy when it comes to thinking. So I do think that, you know, AI can actually help us to become, you know, more efficient. It provides perfect knowledge for us, but at the same time, we should not totally rely on it.
Yeah.
So that makes sense, you know, to a certain extent, that, you know, if you don't train your brain, it's going to shrink. So and honestly, every single day, right, you know, I do feel bad that my grandma cooks for me now still. even though she's 95. But I leave it to her to decide what do I eat at the end of the day, because it trains her to think about, okay, I need to cook this for Vanessa, and I need to buy all these ingredients, and that gives her a motivation to, one, look forward to eating with me after work. Secondly, think about the physical
I
exercise.
think it's the muscle memory, right?
Yes,
it helps
correct.
your brain to continue at least retain its size lah instead of
Yes.
shrink.
Correct.
So
Okay.
don't
I
use
guess,
AI as much.
No, but I still think we can use it when it comes to very basic stuff. Like when it comes to, for instance, in the past, I think Stephanie will know, we'll have a comparison table
Yep.
when it comes to like the different phones. In the past.
Exactly.
Yeah, so all these actually require a lot of time to plow through the entire internet.
To get it right,
Yes,
to make
correct.
sure it's accurate.
Yes.
It take, you can ask 3 people to do it. Hey, make sure this is good,
Yes. So it really increases efficiency, but not to be overly reliant on it.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of true.
And there's still a lot of inaccuracy to it. So that's why the thing that I think all of this younger generation or even our generation will realize that AI, one, is to help make our job easier, faster, I think, efficient. But at the same time, it needs to be double, triple check, because I've experienced it myself that I've seen a lot of errors.
Yes.
Small errors, but matters. So it means our role as a human is
It's
still
not
needed.
totally
Yeah, it's not
obsolete,
totally
no.
obsolete. Yes, correct. Like they can get it wrong for things that is super mundane. Like 1st of September is a Sunday, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's a Monday.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes
I
it
never
happens.
double check those stuff, man.
Oh,
So
no,
I've been
no,
wrong
no.
for a lot of
It-
time, maybe.
No, exactly.
I
So
just-
those other small things,
Really?
you expect them to be right because it's on the calendar, right? But apparently they get it wrong.
I see.
Yep.
Interesting. But yeah, I guess I just remember when I was in the US, right? Back then, there was this website, MapQuest, right? Hey, I'm trying to get to somewhere in LA, for example, from San Diego. Oh, you need to print, you need to open the website, print it out, and then you kind of look around, for the. And now with Google Map, it definitely makes me dumber lah, in terms of streets of Jakarta. I don't remember where places are, anymore. Like usually you just go lah, you know where to go. Now, wait a minute, how do I get there? Then you have to rely on
Google Map.
like Google Map for everything. And then for sure, for example, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you don't want to go over there. Right? You know that.
Yeah,
You used to know
yeah.
that, That's just common sense. But then you rely on Google, it tells you, hey, go this way. And you just follow. Of course, it's traffic, crazy.
I think it's a give and take,
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. I think it's a give and take. Yeah. So like for instance, right now, everything that we experience in this world becomes more efficient, right? But at the same time, it's us as humans rising above it to see, what are the value addedness that we can bring to the table,
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. I think to a certain extent, that is, to me, that is like getting directions here and there is like it's a very manual thing, right? But at the same time, it's don't really know how I should be phrasing this, but in general, I do think that all these tools will help us to become more efficient. Of course, there will be you just have to give and take. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like fire or knife, you can do good things with it, but sometimes
Cut
you
cake.
get hurt, sometimes not so much. Yeah. That's pretty interesting. It got me to think about what can be replaced, And I was thinking for a minute there, like sensory branding. The smell, the experience. At least not now, I don't think AI can, experience what we experience,
Yes.
like how it smells,
What kind of a senses that will trigger when you
Yeah,
smell?
those type of marketing, that would be crazy. I think some people, waktu itu bukan ada EJ. I think, on an unrelated things, we're sending somebody to South by Southwest in
Oh.
Sydney from the office. and one of them is like neuro-marketing or whatever, like crazy stuff.
Jay actually, the one who brought that up.
Yeah, Jay presented about that session. Yeah, are we heading to that direction?
Maybe
Beyond
because
AI.
because it's a very scattered word out there, right? And everybody is just very. It's like our brain is congested with a lot of information, and at the same time, we have to deal with other things in our life. So you have to juggle everything. I think marketer need to find a smarter way to like directly hit your neuron,
Yeah,
directly hit your emotion or your brain or whatever. How you do that? Probably through those neuro-marketing lah. I think.
dude, that's sounds
Right?
crazy.
It's like a next level kind of marketing, right?
Yeah.
So
That's
it goes
it.
beyond just, the price.
What you see and
Yeah.
what you feel, but something that is directly related to how your brain works. Because now it's very hard to do marketing. I think marketing, PR, everything is now is harder because people are number one. People are smarter. Now you have every tools to search about their products. It's tougher to do marketing today and I don't know 20 years ago. I think.
It is.
So I think this neuro marketing is important. I think for the next level of marketing to ensure that marketers are able to connect with human lah.
Dude, it's like we're in a weird episode of Black Mirror or something. Like for the marketing people, like there should be an episode about that probably.
But
one of
right,
these
it's
days.
hard. Like now everything
Everything is competing for your attention
yes,
because
everything.
to a certain extent we are in the attention age, right? Where where we are overwhelmed with a lot of visuals. There's TikTok, there's Instagram,
Yeah.
there's Reels. All these are actually consuming. Just to add on what Stephanie said, they are consuming your visual, your visual, right? So like it's time to look beyond just visuals. What are the other avenues of actually tapping into the emotions of people? It's just like how you would feel when you smell a certain kind of scent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what kind of emotions does that evoke in you? Does that evoke, for instance, if you smell fried chicken, you'll be like, oh my goodness, I just want to eat that now.
Are you hungry now?
Yeah, and the thing is like, will it evoke you to immediately want to, okay, I want to go and get KFC now. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So to a certain extent, right now everybody is just thinking about the visual part of it. Moving forward. What are the other ways to innately motivate somebody and play around with their psychology to actually purchase your product?
Yeah, I think that's the next level of marketing, right? Because you cannot compete with whatever that we are doing right now.
Yeah.
lah. I think as a marketer and as a communication person, I'm looking forward to brand who are able to connect to that next level.
Yeah.
Everything is so congested. It's like it's very loud. My phone's very loud because whenever I open my Instagram, whatever, it's a lot of different,
So
at least
addictive. Yeah.
at least Instagram you can personalize whoever you want to follow, but now your explore, you cannot, it's just they push you a very random content. Yeah.
Did you guys hear about this? I don't know if it's real or not, but it's circulating in the internet. So basically, they're trying to sell coffee in Japan. Did you hear about this? 10, 20 years or 30 years ago, they're trying
tell
to
me
sell
more.
coffee. But it's not a coffee culture. Very tea, right? Nobody drinks coffee. I think this is about Nestle. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. But long story short, you know what? You can't do that, says the marketer. You need to, build this. You need to introduce first, right? No better way to introduce since you're younger. So at first, they're selling this, different like candies or whatever that has coffee
Coffee flavor.
flavor.
Kopiko?
Like Kopiko, right? And then look at where Japan is now. Crazy coffee culture. Like, who thought of that? That's like psycho stuff, man.
And I remember
Crazy good.
talking about KFC also, right? Also Japan, I put two and two together. There is this story also. I don't know whether it's also the right history or not, but KFC, they only eat KFC on like special occasion.
You mean in
Yep,
Japan?
like Christmas.
Yes, because
like
they
Christmas,
market it like that.
like American.
Like, it's a celebration, whatever. So whenever so they make this and they market it in such a way that in special occasion you have to get KFC. So every special occasion, apparently KFC has a lot of people, a lot of long lines to get their bucket of chicken. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So they've been marketing in a way that you associate, KFC meals as a form of celebratory kind of.
For example.
American, yeah.
For
So,
example.
Okay.
so I think they cracked that.
Yeah, like the code kind of, right?
Yeah. It's also quoting Japan as a market. It's very interesting how that geographically is very close between Japan, China, Korea, and even us, Southeast Asia, but how the market are very different.
Yeah, it is.
Right? So it leads me to my next questions about the role.
Oh.
So you're now doing the regional role. You have been doing regional role during your days here and before. Like, how do you see each of these market different? How Indonesian are, are perceived out there and not the same between the reality and expectation at the time.
Oh, wow. So I'll just speak for Indonesia because
Sure.
I spent a good, I wouldn't say good amount of time. I would say a good amount of time here. I have a lot of Indonesian
She
friends.
studied Bahasan in Asia for the record.
Wow.
I'm
Okay.
not good at it. Yeah, so I think most importantly, I love my time here. That's why I keep coming back. I think first and foremost is the warmth here.
Okay.
Businesses over here are very relationship driven.
Yep.
And once you earn the trust, they become incredibly loyal, And it's really a human connection that really sets it apart for Indonesia, for me at least. Like even well, I mean, this is another topic that we probably would touch on later on. Even when we were doing Ministry of Gowns, right? There was once, both of us were at a shop. So there's this tante who came by and she was like, oh, she was just trying different dresses and she was asking me, oh, do I look pretty? And I told her very honestly, I don't think you look good in this one. Why not you try this? But eventually, because of that warmth and trust, she eventually told her daughter, hey, go and get one more dress. And I got another deal in, So,
Wow.
so it's really the warmth that is very different for me at least, that I see that really sets it apart. But of course, is over here in Indonesia is very community driven. I think I will cite it as, I will boil it down to how people, even when I was young, all my Indonesian friends, they would always post large family photos. That's not commonly seen in Singapore.
Yep.
Also because Singaporeans we tend to only have one child or two child
Sure.
due to our policies back then, and it started to become a trend. But over in Indonesia, it's always like large families, and I was always very envious about it.
Okay.
And how everybody would support each other, even during difficult times. Back then, I remember, we had Xiaomi Indonesia, we had a Xiaomi fans community, right? It was 2.2 million. I don't know the figures today, but back then when we were still in Xiaomi, right, it was a 2.2 million big fan base, right? So I remember there was this lady or this girl who fell sick, and everybody just pulled together whatever that they have to actually help this girl. This community kind of is not commonly seen in other countries. If you really ask me. And apart from that, the word of mouth influence, that's why influencers are so popular in Indonesia, right? And talking from the micro to the macro, and yeah, so basically that's very different. And of course, when it comes to the practical side of things, it's still a very offline driven market when it comes to businesses. Yeah. But
Okay.
overall, I think when it comes to Indonesia, it's the people that really matters. As with every single other country that I've lived in, it's always the people that makes a difference in my life. Like you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. But do you think there's still a lot of misperception, misunderstanding about Indonesia as a market, you think?
Yeah, for
obviously you
foreigners.
dealt with, foreigners, Singaporean, the Chinese,
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
specific that you think,
Yeah.
that's definitely something that is very inaccurate
Yeah.
based on your experience.
That there was once I was in this meeting, and somebody asked, this was the question that was posed to me, and they said, Indonesians are very lazy. you know, and I was just a little bit like, hey, who are you to actually have this stereotype, you know? And I think the first things first, a lot of people think that Indonesians are lazy, right?
Okay.
That's the first thing. And I think the second thing is a lot of people are interested in the Indonesian market and they just think that Indonesia is one big market on its own. Of course, you know, the whole population is about 278 million, right? And the GDP is about 1.5, which is 1.5 trillion. This is one third of what of Southeast Asia already. So I think I'll address the first thing is, you know, when that question came up, I was actually offended, you know. I was just, because it was a Chinese who posed me this question, and I said, in my heart, I was just a little bit like, it's just that you don't know how to motivate this person properly, you know? Because to me, when it comes to working with people, as with everybody else, okay, we have to admit every single one of us will have that streak of laziness in us.
Of course.
Yes, but the thing is about finding the right innate motivation that will make them, you know, or rather make your teammates, you know, go the extra mile with and for you. You know, you know, I will cite some of our teammates. Oh, you know, in the past when we were working with our Xiaomi teammates, right? You know, they will work on Saturday and Sundays, and both of us will be like, dude, you know, Saturday and Sunday, you need to rest to go the longer distance. But the thing is, they were just very motivated in a way that, you know, they want to make sure that they deliver, you know, and they are willing to put in extra hours to actually make sure that that happens. And apart from that, of course, you know, they will come together as one whole team and they will want to do this together. Like, so it brings back to my previous point about, you know, having that community, having that support network, and plus that innate motivation that you identify to make, to actually motivate them to want to go the longer distance and with and for you. So to me, I think a lot of times, you know, we come very hard on certain some of our teammates, but the thing is, do we actually really know what is their innate motivation? So I think, I mean, Stephanie and I, we both pride on a lot of one-on-ones, you know, and we actually try to find out, okay, what is your innate motivation? So how can we match that innate motivation alongside with the company's motivation as well as our team's motivation or team goals motivation? Because 1 + 1 + 1. Technically, it should be 3. But the thing is, if you identify it correctly, it should be 1 + 1 + 1 is greater than 3 kind of effect. Yes, yes.
Very
So,
interesting.
yeah, so I think to a certain extent, that is really understanding what your teammates are and their attitude and, their aptitude, and knowing how to motivate them and bring out that attitude so that they are willing to, you know, be able to go the extra mile. Yeah. Of course, like, we are not slave drivers, right? It's not, we wouldn't want that. And honestly, I do know that a lot of times they will say that, oh, you know, we want work-life balance, but I don't believe in everyday work-life balance. There'll be times where you put in extra hours at work. There'll be times where, you know, you have to get off work earlier to, you know, do your family stuff. So I think we are flexible in that manner back then when we were dealing with Xiaomi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think quoting back to the questions, right? I heard a lot about this also.
Yeah.
That Indonesian are lazy. Indonesian are, what's the word? Pushover.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's like over generalizations lah. I'm working across market. I mean, I think every country that I work at has those tools, quality.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say Indonesian are lazy lah. Vietnamese also lazy lah. I mean, I work with them and I'm like, oi, dude.
I mean, some Vietnamese, not as a country.
So, I mean, going back to that, right? I feel like that overgeneralization sometimes is really baseless because you work with, you've had experience working with maybe 5 Indonesian and then all of them are equally lazy.
Now, this is very interesting. We talked about this because we went to Vietnam for our outing, right? Company outing, right? Why, my perception of the Vietnamese people, they're hardworking.
Yeah, actually.
No. It's not.
But why is it the other way around for Indonesian?
No. For me, because I worked with them on a period of time, and it's not generalization. Everyone in Vietnam are lazy.
But it's interesting, right? Of course, you're right with some of the people, right? But why internationally I have, Vietnamese, crazy hard workers, probably. In the back of my mind. I've never been there. That's why you guys laugh at me. Like, yeah, man, that's not true. Okay, but they're doing so good. Like economically, they're growing and everything. Why do we have this perception? At least me, that even now we talk about. Of course, we're going to lose out to Vietnam, man. They're hardworking. We throw those words. If you see comments in the social media, they throw that out like it's the truth. But why is it the other way around for Indonesia? Out there.
I don't know. Maybe again, it's probably because of whoever made that comment. Maybe we work with very unfortunate incidents lah. Work with only a group of people, and then they make conclusion. That's why I don't respect that kind of overgeneralization unless you have a proof point. Like, let's say, I don't know. I'll take an example of Indonesian are very family centric. The thing that you mentioned, it has data, yes. And we are known as what's the word of that?
Collective?
The collective, collective versus the individual. And we are on the collective side of things. And you are extended family versus something. I forget. Like, I learned that at school. But that it has a data, right?
Yeah.
So you can make
It's backed
an
up by
argument, and you can make an argument. You can make a point if you have that data.
Okay, so the conclusion, we need to do some PRing probably abroad.
I think that goes back to the point. Maybe
Right?
this is gonna be a bit controversial, but I feel like Indonesian government has not been doing a good PR for the country. Right?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I
If
still
not-
want to visit Indonesia, so I'll just keep my comments to myself for now.
But that's what I was saying. Like your prime minister, Lawrence, Mr. Lawrence, he was very articulate. He knows the thing that he said. He has data. He knows the problems. I know a lot of people will complain about this and say Singapore is very small, Indonesia is very big. You can compare it apple to apple. Yes, that part I agree. But at the same time, your prime minister are able to do PR for your country properly. So people was like,
Yeah.
wow, Singaporean, this PM is very smart. He knows what happens in the country. He
Like-
knows his problem,
Like that Lee Kuan Yew documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another
I'm a big
example of
fan,
PR.
man.
Another example of PR.
I'm like, dude, can you imagine if it's the other way around? We got Lee Kuan Yew and you guys got whoever, Suharto. Can you imagine where Singapore will be if it's like the other way around? But and I don't completely agree when people say, oh, but that's a smaller country. Hey man, it's the mentality, right? It doesn't matter if it's small or medium or
But
big.
still, you need to take into account the size.
I know, but still, right?
Yeah.
Like the guy had vision, Hey, if we, he said something like, Singaporean, if it's not for the people, it's nothing. It's just like a rocky land, whatever he calls it, right?
Yeah, but to be fair, that's what I always say. Singapore is very small, right? So to a certain extent, to get everything in order is a lot. I wouldn't say easier, but we are more agile in trying to make sure that things come together. But you look at the population itself. Ours,
Yeah, man.
6 million, right?
It's like Jakarta population, even less.
No, lesser.
Lesser than Jakarta population.
Jakarta population is 27 million. That's one tenth of like the whole Indonesia population, right? And that itself is easier as compared to, it's a lot easier, to manage as compared to Indonesia itself, right? And at the same time, we have to be agile because we're so small. We are somebody said that we are a small little red dot, right? So we always say, we're like, we're a
Small little
little
red dot.
And the thing is, if we cannot get in order, and we don't have natural resources, we don't have a lot of things, and if we are not agile and we don't get things in order, we are not going to survive in this competitive global landscape. So while I have always been very proud to be Singaporean, right? And I do acknowledge that, when it comes to the policies that my government has given me, it has really helped us to be competitive on a global stage. Yeah. Yeah, but at the same time, I want to give I also want to give credit and say that it's really because we are smaller. That's why we need to be more resilient in this tough global landscape.
For the record, talking about prejudice, right? Stereotyping.
Uh-huh.
Indonesia, at least on my circle, Singaporean are always perceived as very kiasu.
What's that?
Am I?
What's
Wait,
gas?
let's get to that. Kiasu, it's like you always want to be the first in everything, right?
Yeah,
Like
want to win.
you want to win, you always want to compete. You
Very
feel like
competitive.
Yeah.
Or
maybe
even higher. I don't know the word, but that's it.
it's always very kiasu and always very highly competitive lah.
Yeah.
Okay, like
You-
competitive to the next level.
Yeah, to that maybe to
Okay.
that context.
Mm.
And another stereotype about Singaporean is like they're very they feel superior lah among other Southeast Asian people.
Mm.
Those are the very common Singaporean perceptions, at least on my circle.
Mm.
But at least to me, right, Vanessa, John, the Singaporean that we know, like nothing like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this whole prejudice about whatever country, I don't think is right. I don't
guess
think it's correct.
So it's about PRing. Yeah. You're changing perception.
No, maybe
of these people.
it's like a propaganda for your Singaporean from your neighbor country.
Dude,
Let's
but
not
it's
name it.
funny.
Yeah, maybe a propaganda. Anyway,
Yeah. I think to a certain extent, I think a lot of Singaporeans are very proud of where we are today, you know, from a little tiny fishing village to where it is today. So to a certain extent, I can see where the pride is coming from, because I didn't just get this this comment from you. I got it from my Chinese friends who would come to tell me, and they would tell me, Vanessa, you're very different from Singaporeans that I've met when I was studying overseas, you know. But I think to a certain extent, maybe the different countries that I lived in have taught me to be more empathetic towards,
Maybe.
you know,
Yep.
different cultures.
Yep.
And, you know, if we don't know it all, you know, and a lot of times I learn a lot from, you know, you guys, you know, I learn a lot from, you know, the other cultures that really shape the way I think about and approach things these days. Yeah.
okay. I think this is also a very interesting topics lah. We have always been talking about this a lot, about how PR and marketing world always collide,
Yeah.
right? And some companies treat PR individually, some companies merge it together. So there is this PR marketing debate always out there, and everybody has their opinion lah about how PR marketing should be positioned in a company.
Yep.
So according to you, and at least in your experience, right? Like, how do you think PR marketing definitely need to work together, regardless of their position?
So when you want to get a long-term brand equity, PR and branding needs to work together, right? Because you remember how we used to work together, and I always emphasize that PR needs to pave the way before marketing activities can come in and, you know,
Okay.
do all of the loud marketing. And a lot of times when it collides, when, you know, Stephanie and I, when we're working, we definitely have a few collisions, right?
Yeah,
we
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
have a few friction. That's when, you know, the crazy me wants to do something different. Stephanie will be, okay, you know, hey babe, you know, you need to assess this. So she will always be my guardian, you know, to tell me and to really assess this situation. So that is when, you know, when PR gets overly cautious and when marketing pushes too hard, you know, that's when we collide. But at the same time, it's always important to put it on the table and say that, like, hey, you know what's a common, you know, ultimately what we are trying to get here is to get, you know, long-term brand equity. So how can, you know, PR and marketing work together to make sure that happens?
Yep.
Okay. And now as a marketer, right? Like let's just switch to like a full marketer perspective. Do you think PR gets enough seats in most meetings, in most regional discussion? Do you guys talk about PR and how PR helps marketing efforts?
I mean, at least in my current role, we do. We do. I mean, I have John on board. John is. Oh, we talk a lot about John. So
Yeah.
John is like our mentor. Yeah, he is.
Papa John.
He's a
Papa
veteran in PR. You know, you guys worked with him before. So a lot of times, I mean, I cannot speak for a lot of companies, but I do find that there are certain companies that actually think PR as an afterthought. It's just about, and PR is just, press coverage, instead of reputation building, they can fix everything after the fact.
Yep.
I mean, damage is already done. How do you can't expect them to be people who would be able to fix everything, and PR itself is actually a lot of strategy and a lot of relationship building.
Okay.
And a lot of times PR is the one that shapes a lot of how people think about your brand, how people perceive your brand. And that storytelling itself is actually taken by PR itself. So it's a very strategic role in my opinion, is a growth lever. Yeah, rather than an afterthought. And honestly, I think it's always taken a backseat, really, because under PR itself, right, it's a lot of people just see it as PR. But for marketing, there's like social media marketing, there's like live commerce marketing, so that function itself feels very big. And when it has so many functions, people will naturally give seats to them. But PR will be like an afterthought most of the time.
Okay.
Maybe last but not least about this topic, right? What do you think is the biggest misconceptions between marketing and PR?
Like as I mentioned earlier, right? A lot of times they just think that PR is just press release, and marketing is just a lot of advertising, I think everybody thinks it in that manner. And I think the most common misconception, now that I think about it, is that it's a cost center.
Okay. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Everybody thinks that marketing itself is a cost center, and PR is a cost center. But the thing is, if you build a long-term brand equity, it goes a longer distance. If you know how to tell a story right, if you know how to frame your brand right, it is a lot easier to push your products out there as compared to, if you were to pump in a lot of money into advertising to get your branding out there, but your branding, your storytelling around your brand is not there, all of the money will go to waste.
Yeah. Or at least not as cost efficient.
Yes.
Right? You're going to be spending a lot more than you have to, right?
Yes, correct.
Your
Correct.
story.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would think that seeing it as a cost center is a lot of misconceptions, especially when it comes to sales. They view us as,
Yep.
yeah.
And it's just an observation. I don't know if it's entirely accurate or not. But it seems like the understanding of PR is also not equal from market to market.
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
For example, like in China, right? Like I talk to a lot of friends, international friends or locally here Indonesians, who work for like a very, very Chinese company, right? And it's funny because, our first experience was with Xiaomi.
Yeah.
And at the time, Xiaomi was under Hugo, which was another entirely crazy story, how we got to be Xiaomi's first PR agency in Indonesia. That was pretty intimidating.
Wild, man.
Crazy. Anyway, but back to the topic. Yeah, is it true? I mean, are most Chinese companies like that? I don't know, like from your experiences, because you guys, work with Xiaomi. Just the other companies, it seems like a lot of paid for coverage.
Oh.
Like that simple. So they don't want to invest in what story, whatever, just pay, If they pay, oh, okay, we're PR agency. How many coverage? What are we talking? What's the story, man? We don't even know the story. Yeah, we just want to know, if we invested certain amount of million rupiah, how much we will get back, It's very transactional. Is that accurate from your observations, especially if you're looking at other regions, not only China, obviously?
Correct me if I'm wrong. So a lot of times when a company engages a PR agency and say that for this campaign we are looking at let's just say quoting $2,000, and I would say that to a certain extent this amount of money is paid to, let's just say, a media, just to make sure that the basics are being covered. Likewise in China, right? The reason why like red packets that are given is just to, in Chinese we call it 车马费. 车马费 is like the transportation cost, the cost of like food to actually travel. So to a certain extent, to make sure the basics are being covered.
I see.
Yeah. So I think to a certain extent, that amount of money is actually still needed to make sure that the basic of amplification is actually being covered. This is, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I think it's a different way of doing things here. I guess I don't know.
Market to market.
Maybe the conception about PR is just a strict. I pay you 2,000, I get 20 coverage.
Yeah.
Some companies and some even I think non-Chinese are also still sometimes have that kind of mindset because they have these differences of understanding about what PR is doing, right? So they think PR is only about press release. That's only press release, that's it. But they don't know the strategy behind it, how to ensure that, you know, certain things about your company are being talked about, etc., etc. But in terms of paying the journalist, right? I think it's not a very common practice here. So if we were to invite journalists to our event, for example, we would not pay them. At least what praxis are doing, because we believe in integrity. We believe in how. That's why. Let me take a step back. That's why in all of the events, all of the pitch for our clients, we always make sure that it has value to the journalists. It has enough value for them to write. It has enough value for them to share to their audience. Hence, they will come to our events or pitch voluntarily because of that value, because we believe in that kind of PR. But at the same time, if you are inviting them to go to Bogor,
if it's out of town, then yes.
Bandung,
Or internationally, like you guys
we will
used
provide.
to do all
We
the
will
time.
provide like transportation, meals, and sometimes per diem if it's out of town or out of the country. But in essence, if it's in the city, it's a launch event or like a introduction of a program, etc. Because we believe in that value and we have a high regards on that. We don't usually have a transactional of amount to them.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was trying to get at is just Xiaomi was so different, ahead of its time, right? In terms of using PR, right, to spearhead everything.
Yep.
Yes.
Like before anything else, they do press conferences, media meetups, right, with the bloggers back then, right, with the tech bloggers, and then what do you call this session?
Tech viewers?
The breakout session.
Yeah, like the breakout sessions, right? You know, it was unheard of, right? So I personally learned a lot, right? We learned a lot from how, John the Baptist, I call him, right?
I'll let him know.
Was,
I'll let him know.
John, your ear will be itchy.
Shout out to John. John
Chan.
Make sure you watch this episode. But yeah, learn so much. John, Kayleen, right? Those two. Hey, let's do something like this, and then we try to execute, right? And then we can get more creative, adapted to Indonesian ways, right? But there was a lot of these activities never been done before.
I feel like
in Indonesia. Never.
I feel like how Xiaomi was doing it is because I may be wrong, but this is my observations. At the time when we worked with Xiaomi in the beginning, the company was relatively small in terms of size, in terms of budget, in terms of coverage, in terms of markets. It was still relatively small. And the company, why are you laughing?
I was just remembering the first time I met John. That was pretty funny. Anyway.
Yeah, it was small. It was relatively small in terms of everything. So hence they're using PR as an anchor to everything.
Correct.
Spearheaded everything, any campaign, products, and everything. Hence, the PR is the upfront on doing all of this initiative. But as the time goes by, right, things shifted here and there a little bit.
Yeah.
And PR take a step back, and marketing take a more, dominant role, spearheaded in a lot of different things. But I think it's just a natural progressions of a company, right?
Could be.
But the thing that I'm trying to say is not every company see it that way. A lot of company, instead of doing PR first, they're doing marketing first. And they're running out of budget.
Yep.
Because marketing is not cheap. Let me just put it that way. Not every marketing project is cheap. So I think as a PR person, it's also very important to company to understand that you cannot just do full-blown marketing without PR, without story. Your brand means nothing a lot of the time.
Yeah.
yeah, I think this is something that I like to put it out there.
And also because when it comes, this is something that we always say when we were working at Xiaomi. So PR needs to pave the way. A lot of times, before all of the marketing activities comes in, right? PR needs to pave the way to make sure that the tone is being set right. The frame, to frame the audiences before marketing activities can actually be efficient in doing their magic.
Yep. Okay. Before we get to the next topic, which is I have a lot of questions, but you guys go way back, lah, right? I'm still curious, and we can be honest and stable. But what was your first impression of Stephanie, and has it changed?
I met Stephanie. I remember the first time I met you was at one of the launches. I'm pretty sure it's Remy 4. So we were at the back of the stage, the back of the room. And it was a full line of setup where we had, all of the computers over there to make sure that the screen is good, etc. So I think it was my first few present launches with Xiaomi. And when I met her, I was like, wow, this girl is so beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
this is one thing that has been consistent throughout the years.
Okay.
I mean, she still looks the same. I don't know how she does it. She's very
Thank you.
and she's very sharp. Very confident and a little bit intimidating.
And a little bit interesting. Okay.
So, but the thing is, at a point of time, I think we were still a very client and agency relationship. So I was actually jumping over something. And basically she could handle me. She could handle me with a lot of grace, a lot of calm. And she was unfazed with all of the demands that I have. I'm not sure whether you remember, but I was jumping and she's probably like yeah, but the thing is, that's how I felt about her, because I was actually I can't remember what exactly it was, but that was a feeling that stuck with me for a very long time. And with fast forward to today, she's still intimidating.
Okay.
Not really.
Yeah, no, but she's very sharp, still very sharp, and still very confident. And I think apart from that, as we work along, a longer time, right? I think what really makes her different and why I want to continue this friendship, this partnership with her, is because of her heart. Yeah, she has a heart of gold. Yeah. And a lot of times she tends to be very, I mean, we're friends, right? So she's very hard on herself. Perfectionist, she wants everything to be done very well. She goes the extra mile for her friends. I remember there was once I went to Raffles Hotel and I had this food poisoning that was so bad.
Oh no.
From what, From a Hainanese chicken.
Okay.
I think it was a chili sauce. I can't remember.
Singaporean, food poison, Hainam chicken,
Okay.
Indonesia. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, she cared about my well-being more than her work that was piling up. So she dropped everything and sent me to hospital. And mind you, I wasn't like even friends with her. And she made sure that I was settled in, and she's like, I'm really very sorry. I need to go back, to get things done. Then after that, she arranged, transport to pick me up from the hospital again. So I think really is her heart, and apart from that, and her work ethics, her resilience, her humor, and her ability to navigate crisis with a lot of grace. I think that's actually what makes me, admire her as a colleague, as a friend, and now, business partners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, right?
Oh.
With the-
Yeah.
Now, you guys can do it lah. But
Thank you.
Tell us more about the Ministry of Down.
Oh.
How did it become about? Whose idea, and then we can understand now why you guys can work together so much. With the how you guys think of each other. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, give us a background while. Later on, we include, like your Instagram feed and everything in the background. You can talk about it.
Yeah.
I think it was just, I feel like it's like a serendipity or whatever you want to call it, right? Because suddenly I was already here. I think I was already here, and
Already
then
at Praxis.
I already
Okay.
back at Praxis. So one day, it was in the middle of lunchtime, around afternoon, I think.
Okay.
She suddenly called me or text me. I forgot. Hey, do you want to do this to me? Hey, do you want to do this with me? I'm like, what? And she just starts sending me a lot of videos
Okay.
of a gown. I think that was
Okay.
the first thing that was the first discussion lah.
Okay.
And at the time I feel like, hey, this is very exciting because 2-3 years ago during COVID, I have a difficulty to find a place to rent a gown. So at the time I was like, why everything so expensive here? Because I
Okay.
know the price of the gown should not be that expensive lah. So there's already a pain point, but then it stays in my head. I was just talking to my husband and never happened.
I see.
It would just never
So
happen.
you,
Just like,
you already thought about it.
but like whatever, it never happened because I don't know where to start. I don't know.
where
I
to
don't know lah.
procure
I
the
don't know lah.
gowns.
Procure the gowns, all of the nitty gritty because I'm not an entrepreneur, so I don't have that. I don't know where to start. To put things simple. So when she calls me and I'm like, hey, that's very exciting, blah 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 blah. And then I call my husband and I consulted with him, very brief, and I think he's also very excited because he thinks that this is something that we already talked about in the past but could make it happen and fast. And I call her. I think within the same day we decided, I think let's do this.
Within 2
Wow.
hours.
Wow.
Very fast.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't think even a day, right? 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours.
And then the next day I arranged a flight to go to Singapore and see the goods.
Wow.
And then that's it. It just happened very smooth, very fast.
And I believe it was 1 year ago.
Was
yeah,
it
yeah,
a
yeah,
year
yeah.
ago?
Yeah, exactly
Almost
a
to the
year
date.
ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy.
and it just happened. Because I think also we are pressurized by the time also, right?
Yeah, to actually clear out.
Because her friend who tried to sell the business is, I think, pressurized by the
Partners.
partners and then by the lease of the place.
Oh, okay.
So we decided to
Just do it. Yeah.
All right.
But one crazy thing that everybody needs to know, whoever
Yeah.
watching, is we only have about maybe 7 days to pack, like about 1,000 dress.
Wow.
7 days or less.
How did you guys get them here? Like multiple trips, basically?
No, we shipped it.
Oh,
We
you
shipped it
guys
with a cargo.
Oh, okay.
That's entirely different crazy story.
Okay.
But the crazy story, but actually put the thing together in one go is Vanessa and John.
And his wife.
John bring his wife to help us
Wow,
pack
wow.
everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
And within 3 days, I think they managed to put everything in a box.
Yeah. Almost a week lah. Yeah.
Okay. And all the
100
dresses
kilos.
made here, all right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's
100
good.
kilos.
Yeah.
100 kilos. Wow,
Yes.
wow.
Like 100, more than 100
Okay.
boxes.
So obviously 1,000 you said, something
Yeah.
like that.
Maybe more.
Yeah,
Maybe
more
more.
than that.
So tons of selections.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Tons of selections, colors and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
style, right?
Yeah.
For every body shape and
Body type.
size.
All right. Different shapes and sizes, right? Anything else we need to know about Ministry of Gone?
No, it's just like, I feel like how we started it is very random. But I believe it's all because of the pain point lah, that I feel like a lot of
Yep.
Indonesian are facing. Everything, to me, everything should not be that expensive.
Yeah.
So hence, we come up with this business lah, to open access to more people. Like you don't have to. Whenever you want to rent, you feel too expensive. Then in the end, you have to buy, and in the end, you only wear it once anyway. So we want to
Yeah.
avoid that
I think
habit.
it doesn't make a lot of sense, right? If you think of it,
Yeah,
you design the dress
yeah.
and then you wear it once
And then
that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
And then it's like another space in your closet,
Yeah.
or maybe not even in your closet, in your like
Gudang,
gudang or something, you
like a
know,
storage.
like a storage.
So yeah, that's the pain point. But we're still new in operation. I think we're not even.
Not even a year actually. We started operating in March?
Okay,
Was
earlier
March
this
or-
year.
yeah, earlier
Okay,
this year.
it took some time. If they're interested, where can they find you guys?
Where Vanessa? Where
Sunter. We are located in Sunter.
Okay, Sunter.
Sunter.
Is it like an actual like boutique kind of thing where
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
try on
Yeah,
the?
yeah. Like
Is
a
it by
store.
appointment? Is it always open?
Always open.
Always open.
Yeah.
Time?
We are on the 3rd floor of a coffee shop.
Oh, okay.
So we always open from 9
9 to
to 6, Monday to Sunday.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, you guys, in case you're you're getting married, right?
Yeah, we
You're
have a lot
thinking
of
about,
wedding dress.
Yeah.
come see them, Ministry of Gown, right?
Fast
Try it to
free,
see.
effortlessly chic.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I was just trying a couple of gowns over the weekend, just
Yeah.
trying to pick out, a dress for one of my friend's wedding.
Okay.
So we do have a wide selection of colors, for every skin type, body type, and every single dress, I love it. I love that it's an extension of my wardrobe. So I
Nice.
think a lot of times you can see it as an extension of your wardrobe. We take care of everything from end to end. Even when it comes to, let's just say, if you find it a hassle to come down to our shop, we even have this home service where
Wow.
we can arrange a whole video call for you to take a look at all of the entire selection that we have. And which are the ones that you like it, we'll pick it out and deliver to you. And then somebody will actually will make the measurements and take it back. Of course, it's a premium service that, we after a couple of times, some clients come to us and say, Vanessa, I really, Vanessa, Stephanie, we love, your dresses, but sometimes it is a bit too far, so we, instead of, you traveling down to us, we can travel to our clients. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Good luck with the business.
Thank
I think
you.
it
Thank
makes
you.
a lot of sense. And there's a need for it, I think. Probably more people needs to know about it. So hopefully you guys can get the word out there, right?
Thank you.
That's
So
pretty
nice
cool.
of you.
Anyway, any other questions, Jay?
Oh yeah, maybe that's one last closing questions. I think we've addressed this already lah, and it's
A little
elephant in
bit,
the
a
room,
little
yeah. Like,
Mm.
as someone who is always polished, who always look put together, sometimes do you think people thinking you are too put together to be able to get your job done?
Take me seriously. I think it's a common misconception that, if you are, they assume that being polished means no substance.
Yeah.
It's a very common misconception in the industry. I have people coming to, I have received feedback and say that, oh, Vanessa's a legend. I think she's just good with bosses.
Okay.
I heard
Wow.
about that.
Okay.
So you would want to talk about it. I was a little bit taken aback, really, because I think when I was with Xiaomi, I actually worked really very hard because it is a technology industry, and technology itself is ever changing and it's very fast paced. So every single day I had to upkeep with, especially when I was doing product marketing and product PR, right? I have to upkeep myself in the latest technologies. What's in the market, what are competitors doing. So when everybody knocks off at 6, 7 o'clock, in China, okay, on average 8 o'clock, I'll be in office till 10, 11. So much so that my health suffered. In the process. So they don't see the amount of work that I put, behind the scenes to make sure that, I'm always, up,
Yep.
yeah, just making sure that I'm, above, just to make sure that I'm there, And honestly, I think that you can have both. You can look sharp, but you can still do the heavy lifting, And honestly, I think that being put together actually is an advantage because it helps sets the tone before you even open your mouth. This is my opinion, and a lot of times I actually sift that out of me of the system, because to me a lot of times when they make certain judgments or certain comments like that shows lack of confidence.
Yep.
And that you are afraid of being challenged, and honestly I'm always a work in progress, and there will be certain things that I'm not afraid to say that I don't know, but it does not you don't know is one thing, but I think having the attitude of, okay, I don't know, but I want to learn more and finding out about it to make sure that you're always up, your game is always you're always the A game.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Now, circling back to all the way to the introduction, right? You mentioned tech industry, a lot of dudes, right? Male-dominated industry. Let's say for younger generations, females, right, who's trying to get into the industry, what do you think the 3 traits that they need to have, in order to not only survive but thrive in like a tech industry or a male-dominated industry?
I think first and foremost is the mindset,
Okay.
right? Second thing is the performance, being very focused on performance, and making and ensuring you're a team player. So I'll elaborate on these 3 points, okay?
Okay.
Because I've never really seen, being in a male-dominated industry as a barrier. So if anything, right, it pushes me to stay sharp, you know, and I need to keep raising my bar, you know. Even right now, even in the job that I have, I'm always thinking about, I don't know enough. You know, how do I make sure that I equip myself with the relevant knowledge? And, I always focus on being prepared, be confident in my delivery. And I think most importantly, I have to be very open-minded from everyone that I work with. And don't be shy to say that I don't know. And because a lot of times the ability to say that I don't know shows that you have the humility to actually want to learn. So that actually helps me thrive no matter what kind of environment. Okay. So, and honestly, I never really looked at it from a male versus female point of view. So honestly, it's really about performance, like, being very focused on objective. My ex-boss would always say that, Vanessa, we just need to be very focused on the objective. Yep. So, it's about, when you consistently deliver, right, you'll earn respect regardless you're male or female. So it's not just restricted to the gender. So, and I always believe that, competence speaks louder than, anything else. And the last part is, I've always believed in, we touched the topic early on about cognitive diversity. So to me, right, what I bring to the table, I may not know certain, in a room full of engineers, product managers, and other people from different backgrounds, what do I bring to the table is actually cognitive diversity. And being a team player, right, when you focus on collaboration, a lot of respect, and ensuring that, everybody collectively comes together to drive impact, right? That is what is most important. And when you build that trust and you deliver results as a team, that's the most important thing. Because ultimately, right, you cannot function you cannot just deliver alone. If you want to go, there's this saying, right?
If you're gonna fast, you go
alone,
and you're gonna go far. You go as a team, something like that, right?
Correct.
Something like that.
Correct. So I think it's really about recognizing yourself as a team player and what do you bring to the table. In fact, this is something that I learned from my previous teammates, and that because a lot of times when we are interviewing candidates, right, we'll just say that, this person does not have a tech experience. But to me, it's a little bit like this person will bring in a different perspective that a tech person would actually think about. And a lot of times when there's cognitive diversity, there is a lot of, clash in terms of ideologies, a lot of ideas, a lot of mindset, a lot of cultures, right? That's where the magic happens. That is why you see a lot of top performing teams, they have people coming from different cultures, different backgrounds. Because when all these fuse together, that's where you can think about, doing excellent marketing, excellent projects, excellent results, delivering that.
That's crazy, everybody. So we've been learning a lot from Vanessa, right?
I've been learning a lot from you guys as well.
No, I mean, very, very insightful, right? The way you put everything together, in a sense, it's about leadership, right? Putting people in the right places where they can perform, diversity, all these things, you guys, follow Vanessa, right? Maybe social juga. Learn about her, right? So unfortunately, as much as we enjoyed this conversation, I know you have to go to the airport, which is crazy. So we have to wrap everything up. Vanessa, thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you.
Did you have good time talking here?
Yeah. I'm a bit sad that this is ending. I actually enjoy
I
a lot.
I wish you know.
I wish this could be
we can
longer.
definitely do at least another hour, right?
Yeah.
But that's why we have different episodes. Maybe you can come back again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That would be
We'll
cool.
be more than happy to. Thank you. Thank you both for having me.
Thank you. Hey, we want to wish you good luck, much
Thank you.
success for your career and for the business. I think we're only seeing the beginning, right? In terms of career, I'm sure you'll go higher.
Yep.
Take it to the next level on your whatever's next for you. So good luck with that. Anyway, everybody, thank you again.
Thank you.
Vanessa Tan, everybody.
Thank you.